All right, today we are going to create the spine for your portfolio, and what we're going to do is we're going to open up Adobe Illustrator, lay out the spine, lay out the page. That way you can create the theme and carry the theme over from your cover. So here we go. I'm going to open up Illustrator, and I'm going to open up a new document, and then I'm going to just title it My Spine. And notice that it's 8.5 by 11 inches portrait. And I've got my layout. I'm going to make it just a little bit smaller. I'm going to hold the Command minus key and make it a little smaller, and then put up my rulers, because I'm going to need my rulers so that I can lay this out properly. Make sure your rulers are in inches, and I'm going to take my zeros and put them right here on the corner. So I have a 0 and a 0 so I can measure everything out correctly. Now we're going to make our spine, of course, the length or the height of our cardstock, so that it is as tall as the cover. But we're going to make it very, it's not going to be very wide, because it can only fit within that little pocket down the spine of your portfolio. So we're going to set up some rulers here with the guides, and I'm going to set my first guide at the 2-inch mark. I'm going to set my next guide at the 3¼ inch mark. Now, your design is going to be just a little bit inside of these guides, because we have to cut this so that it'll fit inside the pocket of the portfolio. So it has to be just a little bit smaller than this. So what I'm going to ask you to do is to set this at a 1¼ inch, so 1¼ inches wide, and then you're going to take your rectangle tool, and you're just going to create a small little rectangle from top to bottom. And you'll notice when I'm creating this rectangle, I'm going to go just to 1¼ inch here, right over my guides, and I'm going to create a nice little rectangle with no fill and only a black outline. And then you'll notice that the stroke here is 1 point. Okay, 1 point. That way it'll be a very thin line around your design, and I will know, or you will know, where to cut this piece of paper after you've designed your portfolio spine. Okay, so you want to be able to cut this, because we've got to cut it down so it'll fit. Now we're going to take our type tool, and we're just going to create whatever we want to create. Okay, so really setting this up is the most critical part, so that we can cut it after you're done. But notice that I can use different type tools here, and just for your demonstration, I'm going to create my type. Now it doesn't have to be set in here perfectly, because I'm just going to set the type and click one time with my mouse. Notice I am not setting a text box. Okay, I am not doing this, taking my type tool and setting a type box. Do not do this, because then your type is locked into this box, and I don't want you to do that. Okay, what I want you to do is to take your text, simply set it anywhere here on the page, and then place it right down the center. And make sure that you carry the design or the theme from your front cover. The colors, this should be the same font style as your cover. It should have the same colors, and it should all be printed on the same printer. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, and I can either set my type here and begin typing. Okay, and then I can give a couple spaces here, and we'll do a 2007 for probably, since you may have started in the academy in 2007. If not, put the proper years that you have been in the academy. And then once you have this typed in the font that you want, or just type it out, you can always change it to the font and the colors and the size that you want. And that's what I'm going to show you now. Is I'm going to use my selection tool, selected it, and now I'm going to use my my free transform tool right here, and I'm going to resize this so that it will fit And notice I'm leaving a little bit of space at the bottom, a little bit of space at the top, because when I print this, I want it to print without getting chopped off in the printer, because we have an area that the printer will print. And notice I'm not going outside of the design area here. In fact, I'm going to stay within 1 1/8 inches, 1 1/8 inches. So there we go. Now I've got it. Okay. Now, what if you want to make this bold? You can do that. Italic, whatever the case might be. You can color this any color you want. Okay. So all your choices, you're unlimited. Continue the design that's going behind this. Look at the portfolios over by the printer and look at the spines that are on the printer or next to the printer so that you can get some ideas. You want to make sure that you're doing this correctly, so take a look at the old portfolios that I've set out for you so you can see their styles, the way that they've carried the theme over, the colors that they've used. Okay, so obviously I can highlight this and I can change the colors that I want. And notice that I've just changed the outline color, and we'll just go ahead and change the fill so you can see that, and then we'll change the bottom down here. We'll just do something completely different, and now you can see how this looks. Deselect it, and there you go. Now you're going to leave this like this, so you're going to save it. And then make sure you save it to your desktop. And then have somebody in class today check it. Make sure you haven't misspelled anything. Make sure you have the right colors. Make sure you have the right design. Make sure you have everything correct. Then you can go to File and Print. And it'll take a second for it to load because loading our printer to our screen takes a minute for it to come up. It's a large program that connects. Now, notice my name, my design fits inside this little gray rectangle. If it's outside of this, then you need to fit to page, okay, and make it a little smaller. If not, if everything's lined up right, and this is perfectly fine, if you have to fit it to the page to make sure, because if it's outside these little gray dotted lines, it is not going to print. It's going to chop something off, okay, so you don't want to chop off your design. And notice you can see the little guidelines here in my print so that when we cut these down to fit inside your portfolio spine in that little pocket, then you'll be able to cut them down without wondering, am I cutting this down to the right size? Okay? So then you'll go ahead and you'll print, and it'll print out over at the printer. In fact, this one's printing out just as an example. Okay? All right, if you have any questions, watch this video. If you have any questions, come to me, talk to me, and good luck, okay? Good luck on this.